Hi, in the last video I talked about how Karthik reacted to losing his mother. In this video I will be talking about grief, and when we say grief is different to everybody and different people will grieve differently. The textbook says, there are 5 to 7 stages of grief, but not all stages are applicable to everybody. The stages that were applicable to me were shock. The first thing is shock. Okay, she's gone now. What do I do now? I have a son to raise, and I have a job to do, and I still have to continue making money because you still got to pay bills. So it's very difficult to put it in words when you go through that particular stage, because everything is very challenging during this period, because you are questioning a lot of your principles as well and a lot of your lifestyle as well. So you're basically in a shock during this period, and you're trying to figure out what is happening and how am I going to deal with this, and will I be able to deal with it, and all of this. It's very challenging period. And the second stage or the second phase is denial. You for me, the denial is, it was coming for a while, right? She was fighting for the cancer, and there was a point I know that she's not going to survive, but you try all the ways to keep her alive. And even after she passes away, you would think about, okay, what if I have done this one? What if I have tried this one? You would have the decisions that you made in the past, you would question it. Now, if I have tried this, could I have saved her? And it takes some time to to come to terms with, okay, whatever we tried. And yeah, it's also not accepting the fact that she is no more and you have to do everything by yourself. Yes. And anger. This is, I'm known for an angry bird. For many years I used to be angry for no reason. I get upset about people, I get upset about politics, I get upset about a lot of different things. My instant reaction would be anger. So during this period, I was really, after she passed away, I was really angry with my mom, dad, and all the other family members. This is the phase where I got really angry. It's just right after she died. We have to fly her to India for a final funeral stuff. And Hindus have got a lot of custom, and sometimes it's really hard to do certain things when you are in that mood, right? You're already not able to handle what's happening around you, and the whole thing comes crashing on to you now, and you're the only person who have to deal with all of this. After 3 days, when everybody is gone and everybody is done, Hindus have got a lot of rituals, and some of this thing that you need to perform is really hard, and people don't accept that you don't want to let that person go, but you still have to do all of this. And the reason why I was angry is with my mom and my dad is because in a way I felt that they couldn't save her, because they have always saved me in a lot of places, but at this point in time they couldn't save her, which was really hard for me to accept it. as I said before, I thought, we should have tried even more in a way that we could have saved her. That's all the denial things kicking in your head. Yeah, I was really angry during this period, and I wouldn't show it to anybody. I would take it especially on my mother and my dad. I'm still angry with. I'm still not angry. I mean, I stopped talking to them during that period, and I never got in terms again. Talking to my mom and dad. It is still a thing that I need to work on. I do not know when I will be able to come to terms with this talking again. Yeah, there's nothing they could have done. If I have to put all the emotions aside and think logically, it would mean that it would just mean that they could not have done anything. The doctors couldn't do anything. All the research people couldn't do anything. What could my mother and father do, to save her? And I was also pretty upset with her mom. Her mom was not in a best. Was not mentally okay during not during this period. Even before that, she had her own issues to go through. So I was sort of upset with their family as well, because I thought I wasn't getting enough support, though I was getting support. It was just that I felt in a way that they also couldn't save her. So everything tied into this one thing. I couldn't save her, and none of you couldn't save her. Just leave me alone, and I will deal with whatever that comes in my way from now on. And I'm still the same in a lot of ways. Yeah. And the last and the final stage is accepting it. With acceptance, there is also hope. When I say acceptance, what I mean by is, you sort of come to terms with all these things that I talked about. You try to reason everything that has happened, and you would come to terms that saying that this is my life now. I have to deal with it. There's nothing I can do. I have to deal with it, and I have to move forward, and not just sit in a corner and think and cry, or just cry out in the car when I'm driving. I used to do all the time. That was one of the things. It can't go on forever, because you have a son to raise, and you have to spend quality time with Karthik, and you sort of take all the responsibilities, and just focus on the life ahead, and move forward. This used to be my favorite quote, or something. I came up with it. No matter how long the tunnel is, there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And it might take a long time to find out, but eventually anybody who goes through grief will find it. And yes. So we talked about different stages of the grief that I went through. And the problem with is, you don't just go through from stage 1 to stage 2, stage 3, stage 4, stage 5. It doesn't. You can go from stage 1 to stage 5, and then something goes bad in your life, and then you would just go back to stage 1 or stage 2, and you would go into depression and all these things. So the other stage I missed to talk about is depression. I wasn't really sure if I was depressed or I was just feeling flat. I just called myself I was feeling flat all the time. And at one point I sort of figured out I was in a depression. If you talk to me in person, you would never know about it. I would just smile at you every single day, and I would hide everything. I'm not someone who... I do post a few times on Instagram. That's the only place I feel I can share. in a way, but people would think I'm having a bad day, but it was an ongoing thing, constantly depressed. I didn't have the drive to do anything, though I did few things between and after she passed away, but those drives are just to keep myself busy, not to address the real problem. So I went through a lot of depression during this period, and I remember I decided, I wanted to take some action on it. And the way I did it is I was watching an Formula One, Nico Rosberg and Roman interview, I believe. And there was a segment in that YouTube video where they talked about therapy. They are the top performing athletes in the world, and even they needed therapy because the amount of stress they go through was too much to handle, even for them. Then I sort of started talking to myself in a way that if they need it, I need it more than them, because I'm not a top performing athlete. I'm just a normal guy who believed that family is everything. So I decided that I should go and see a therapist. I will talk in detail about my therapy session in the next video, what all has happened during the session, and I will talk in detail in the next video. Yeah, so the depression played a big part, almost 2.5 years, I think. It's only in the last 4 or 5 or 6 months I've just started seeing life differently, bit more spending time for myself and things that I enjoy doing it. And one of this is creating this video. And there are other things I did during this period, to cope with all the depression and all the grief and everything. So one of the things I did is I bought a lot of motorbikes. And for me, motorbike is a way of getting away from everything. I can forget everything that's happening around me and just put on the music and then just ride as much as I want. And I also enjoy going really fast. So, that was my thing, I bought motorcycles, sold motorcycles, and I still do miss my motorcycles, but buying that motorcycle did not help me to get better. It would help me just for that duration of riding. When you come back home, you go back to the same cycle of depression. And during this period, I also spent a lot on buying things that are not required for me. I burnt a lot of money in buying things that I really didn't need. And shopping is a good stress buster. I was into that trap as well. At some point, I felt that all of these material things is not bringing happiness to me, because these are not the core things that I enjoyed in life before this life-changing event. I enjoyed riding a bicycle more than riding a motorcycle. I enjoyed playing hockey. I enjoyed doing some activities, or I enjoyed being outdoors in general. And all of that came to a stop. And this is why I decided to sell all my motorcycle, and I just wanted to have a simple life and a meaningful life. In a way, I would dedicate my life to Karthik and anybody who joins us in the future. So Karthik, in a way, Karthik saved me from depression, because I think in the previous video I talked about, more than he needed me, I needed him to have a purpose in life. And I think, yeah, it was, yeah. It's a difficult phase, I, I mean, I don't think anybody should go through the phase of losing somebody, but it is life. And yeah, but cancer is very bad, and it would break you. It's not a nice feeling by any means. I can't compare this to anything in the world, but I'm sure there are other people who have lost their loved ones by other means, an accident. I mean, imagine the one person you loved was there a few minutes ago, and the next minute she's gone, and you did not see that coming, which is even more heartbreaking. At least in my case, I saw her struggles, but at some point I do know that it's all coming to an end. Her suffering is coming to an end, and she is gonna rest in peace. And I think she is resting in peace now. No pain, no suffering. Yeah. I think, that's all about grief. So you can't compare one person grief with another person. Every person grieves differently. So comparing one person to another is not the right thing to do in terms of grieving. And everybody recovers in their own time. There's also one more thing I really liked. It's a quote as well. Time answers everything. You got to patiently wait for the right time to arrive, and things will fall into place. And there are times things will go bad. Ups and downs are part of life. There's nothing you can do about it. You gotta enjoy life. The little moments that come, with your partner, with your children. You gotta enjoy those little moments. I mean, I don't enjoy some of the moments, I feel bad for it sometimes because I don't give enough attention to Karthik, but I have come to terms with it. This is what I can do, and I'm happy with the time that I give him. And yeah, can do better always. I can do always better, but I'm happy with where I am right now. Slowly, we'll get there. Time, as I said, time heals, time changes people. But he's at an age where he's really beautiful. He's playing, learning cycles, swimming. So I would like to spend more time with him. That's my main attention at this point in time. So that's all about grief. And the next video, I will talk about my therapy sessions and what are the activities that I did, and how it helped me, and how my therapist helped me to create a schedule for my life. All of this I will talk in my next video. And I'm keeping up with the challenge, so 30 days, 30 videos. I think I can do it, but I might run out of topic to talk. But I will come up with something interesting for anybody who wants to listen. And I'm not going to ask you to like, share, or subscribe. If you do like it, give a thumbs up. That means more to me than anything in the world right now. Thank you guys. Peace.